All right, my stream of consciousness continues. In this video, we'll be talking about killing the ego. And if you want to understand what I'm doing, please go back to the first video in the series to understand what the heck it is I'm actually doing. I am recording for 3 straight hours on topics in a jar. And I'm setting my timer. I have 5 minutes each, and no editing is allowed. Killing the ego. This one is... I think the best way for me to kind of start this is by maybe making this point. When someone is acting in ego, there's just nothing inspiring about it. There's nothing inspiring about a man or a woman acting in ego. But I do need to make the point, in my opinion, as a potential crazy person, I do think it's important to state that the ego is a far greater struggle for men than it is for women. And that goes back to why men wear more makeup than women. If you haven't seen that video, watch that one. Here's a perfect example of killing the ego. I as the deck guy for years, with just the absolute blast and honor I had of creating these television shows, and I was never looking for it. I wasn't trying to get on television. I was found, and someone came up to me one day, and my friend Mike Sheeran, and he said, I think you should have a show. And next thing you know, I'm sitting in HDTV buildings, and next thing you know, I'm on TV. I never was looking for it, but I had my ass kicked fairly well up to that point. I had a lot of good ego killing, but there was a bit more to go. So after a number of years, I started getting a little bit irritated at the deck guy stigma, because I was like, I do more things. I've built houses. I've done interior renovations. I've been doing interiors as long as I've been doing exteriors, and I want people to know this. And I finger paint. I play bocce ball, and no one knows about this, and don't even get me started on the whole musical side of me. And when Custom Built came about, this opportunity to do this interior show, I was very excited about it, because I'm like, yeah, I can finally show people what I do over here. And at the time, I could feel that there was a bit of ego in there. I knew it, but I was like, but no, this will be good. I had convinced myself that this was important. And as proud as I am of Custom Built, of the over 20 episodes we did of that show, amazing moments, just some really the show, when you watch it, you would never know that the experience of filming it was horrible, because I was doing 2 shows at one time, and I was like, why is this so hard? Why is this, like, filming Decked Out and Disaster Decks and Deck Wars, and up to that point in time, and doing Canada's Handyman Challenge was an absolute blast. But now this is like scraping nails down a blackboard every day. It just didn't feel as natural. It was just something about it that was off, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And I think it ended up morphing back into where I had a very good friend of mine say to me one day, he's like, Paul, I think your ego has stepped up a notch. I think your ego has come in there, because what you've actually done is you've created a niche for yourself. And that's where people in the world of business in this world would kill for. Everyone would love to have a niche, and you are the deck guy, and just accept it. And so I think I'm 90% of the way there. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can be the deck guy without having to immediately say, and they do all these other things too, even though I just did. Let's think about that one later. I think it boils down to this simple statement. When I love talking in front of crowds, because I'm ADHD and eccentric, and I like being the center of attention. Actually, I don't, which is very funny. But I would share this, and I believe this to be true, and I'm still learning this one. When I ask people what they want written on their epitaph, imagine asking this when people are expecting you to talk about deck clips or the latest lighting trends. And I say to people, what do you want written on your epitaph? And I'll say, maybe it's this. Would you like everyone to know just how successful you were in business, how much money you made, just how powerful you were, how many people you had working for you? And everybody in the crowd shakes their heads like, no, shallow. I'm like, okay. So everyone agrees with me on that. So what do we want it to say? Do we want it to say maybe something like this? Hey, you know what? I lived life to the fullest. I loved well and was loved well in return. I did not let fear hold me back. I followed my dreams to the fullest. Everyone starts nodding. Everyone, anything that's fighting fear, everyone nods up and down. And then I say, okay, so everyone agrees. So I said, isn't it funny then, if you're statistical, that you will spend 90 to 95% of your time investing in the very thing that you do not want written on your epitaph, and 5 to 10% of your time in what you do. Ooh, the chime came in perfectly. If you can understand what I'm saying, then you're starting to understand killing the ego. It's becoming increasingly hard to hold these to 5 minutes, but I'm being disciplined. These are the rules I made up, and I have to follow them. So in our next video, we will be talking about deconstructing anxiety. Stay tuned.